Hey Fit Friends, Lee Swigum here with L. Frederick Sport Performance and Fitness, coming to you from almost always sunny Scottsdale, Arizona. Enjoying another beautiful day out here. Great day for some outdoor activity, especially a good workout, getting that sweat in. So today we are going to talk about probably my favorite exercise. If you know me, you know this is one of my staples. I'm going to work on butt, hip mobility, lower back and core strength, posture and thighs, balance as well. We're going to talk about the squat. All right, if you are not squatting for whatever reason, I highly suggest it's something you work on, practice, get better at, and add to your training. All right, again, named a number of things that helps with. Again, it's going to really help with balance, stability, core strength, and all that is going to translate into better mobility and then better overall strength. All right, one of the 5 core exercises, in my opinion: the squat, deadlift, lunging or split squats, the push-up, and the pull-up. All right, you can accomplish an awful lot with those 5, and they're really most every other exercise is kind of derived from them in some way, shape, or form. So those are, in my opinion, again, the 5 core exercises. We're going through the squat today. It is, with 99% of my clients, the first thing that we address is the squat. Addressing that after a good dynamic stretch, working on hip mobility, hip range of motion, and then posture and alignment, we get into the squat because of its importance. All right, even if it's because of injury, limited mobility, range of motion, that sort of thing, we're going to talk about ways to get into a squat and how you can do a full squat. Even if you cannot today, we're going to practice and work on that, and you're going to be able to do that, okay? There's points on how to squat we'll go through. We'll go through things, what not to do when you squat, and then I have ways to make the squat a little more difficult once you've gotten really good at it or mastered it, even if you're not in a gym, all right? I know a lot of us are back to the gym and really excited about that. I'm going to continue with some outdoor workouts for you guys. In case this happens again, we're locked out of the gyms. I want you to be able to stay fit, stay healthy, even when not having access to our favorite places like the gym. So, all right, today, guys, get ready to squat. All right, guys, here it is. You're ready to go on the squat journey. I'm going to show you a squat, tell you a little bit about how to do the squat, things to pay attention to, keys to the squat, and then we'll get into how to gradually work towards that if you're not able to squat initially, a few things that are not to be done when you squat, and then a few things to build from that squat, make it a little more difficult, even with limited equipment. All right, so for a squat, you are looking at feet about shoulder width apart. You can have a slight toe flare, so your toes can be out just a little bit. We are not talking plie style, where they're straight out, no more than 45 degrees. I would say even a little less than that, maybe a 15 to 30 degree angle, toes slightly out. Up nice and tall. So your first thing when working is I want to have really good posture to start with. I don't want to start with poor posture and then try to regain good posture. So I'm going to start up really nice and tall. Again, feet shoulder width apart. My first motion is going to be a little bit of a pelvic tilt or hip tilt, where I'm going to get my butt back a little bit. Naturally, my chest is going to come a little bit forward, but I am bending purely at my waist or my hips. You do not see my spine bend whatsoever. My shoulders stay back. My butt just goes back a little bit. That's going to initially set that weight right back on my heels where I want it, okay? So it's the thing you're going to want to concentrate on while doing a squat, staying weight back, or keeping the weight back in your heels, staying back in your heels. Once I get that pelvis back just a little bit, I'm going to virtually sit down, kind of still reaching my butt back like I'm going to sit down on something. All right, again, you'll see my shoulders are up nice and tall. I have not bent my spine, I've not compromised my spine at all. Staying up nice and tall. I'm then also keeping my knees as wide as my toes. All right, I don't want my knees coming in. It's called tracking the toes. If you drew a line from your ankle straight out through your toes, you notice it just gradually get a little wider. I want to keep my knees that wide. All right, and then the last thing I want to focus on is getting my butt to knee level or a little bit lower, just a slightly below parallel with those thighs, okay? So the 5 keys with your squat, again, feet shoulder width apart, keeping the back nice and straight, not rounding the spine or compromising the spine, keeping my knees as wide as my toes, staying back on my heels, and getting that butt just below parallel of those knees, okay? So that is going to be the basics of setting up your squat. Okay, after seeing the base of a squat and trying a few repetitions, you may be saying, but Lee, I can't do that. I can't get that low. I don't have the balance and the stability. I feel like I'm going to fall backward. I can't keep my back straight. I cannot do that. And you're not here in person to help me out. So what can I do to improve on a squat or work towards a real squat? I have a few tips for you. One is you're going to want to start with you could start with a low stool, a chair, something kind of to sit on. Unfortunately, I do not have one with me today, but it's something that you can work on lowering your butt to and then standing back up. It's not something you actually want to sit on. You're not trying to sit. As far as putting all your weight into that seat, you are sitting just to lightly touch that platform and then pressing back up from your heels, okay? The seat is there for a couple reasons. One, staying back on your heels and really keeping that chest up and shoulders back, you may feel like you're falling backwards and you may in fact fall backwards. That is normal. That does happen, all right? That's what the chair is there for. So you don't fall all the way to the ground, you'll simply sit down. So it's kind of a safety chair. The other purpose of the chair is your depth of how low do I want to get your butt. So a chair initially is going to be a little high. You're going to want something that challenges you for depth, okay? Or something that's adjustable that you can go lower with to get those hips just below parallel of the thighs, okay? So that's one way. Another way is to have a counter, a back of a chair, a couch, something to hold on to that you can help balance a little bit as you go. I don't want to be holding on this way where if I totally let go right now, I'm falling backward. I want to use it as needed and then gradually let go of it as I get down there. So something to hold on to work on that balance. I feel like I'm going to fall backwards. So the combination of something in front of you and or a chair or a platform, a box of some sort, a stool, are going to help you. So if I need to hold on to this here, I'm going to work on that depth. Again, I don't want to be coming forward. I don't want to get off my heels. I don't want to have my knees come in. I want to really concentrate on that good form. If I can hold good form to here and stand back up, that's a win. That's something to start with, all right? That's a progression to build off of. All right, I don't want you to say, well, to get lower, I have to do this, so I do that just so I can go lower. Then you're just developing and practicing bad habits. I want you to keep the best form you can as long as you can, and you'll improve by pushing through that a little bit. That includes holding maybe, getting down into a position. I can't quite go any lower, but I'm going to hold this, and I'm going to try to let go and hold that position, stand back up. Slowly lower myself, not going very fast. Slowly lowering, hold that position for a couple seconds, pressing back up. A reminder, staying back on the heels, feet shoulder width apart, knees staying as wide as my toes, not bending my spine, just coming forward a little bit at the hips, and then working on getting those hips a little bit lower than the knees or just below parallel. Okay, so that's a few ways to practice and work on doing a squat, but using some assistance, okay? All right, next we're going to go into what not to do when squatting. I've already addressed a number of these of what not to do when squatting. I'm just going to demonstrate them again to make sure we're familiar with everything. So again, main one thing is going to be coming off your heels and squatting on the balls of your feet. All right, you're going to want to keep that weight back on your heels, and that really has to do with keeping that butt back. So I want to be able to wiggle my toes when I'm in the down position. If I cannot wiggle my toes, it means my weight's too far forward and my heels are likely off the ground. Second one is as I get down here, letting my knees come in and pushing up. All right, so I want to keep my knees as wide as my toes and avoid them from coming in, especially when I stand up. You'll see a lot of this. Try not to keep those knees from going in. Two ways to fix that is feel like there's pressure being applied on the outer part of your knees and you got to press them wide, or feel like you're trying to slide your feet apart, and that'll typically help keep those knees wide. Another big one is leaning forward too much when squatting. All right, that typically involves bending the spine, which we definitely don't want to do, or even bending too much at the hips where I'm coming way forward and my chest is way out over my toes. All right, so you really want to battle to stay as upright as possible. Keep those shoulders and that chest back behind your toes. And that's going to make a big difference, especially when the air squat gets too easy and we need to start adding weight. You're going to want to have a nice stable spine. Okay, so those are a few of the biggest mistakes made when squatting. All right, and finally, once you have perfected the air squat or the body weight squat and are needing to make it a little more difficult to challenge yourself, and you don't have the use of a barbell or whatnot, a really good alternative or option is going to be a resistance band. Okay, so what you can do, a couple different ways to do this. You're going to step on it, get it in, good squat stance with your feet. I'm going to pull it up, place it over my neck, on my shoulders, so it's going to simulate a barbell. All right, so I've got that resistance when coming up. Okay, I want to keep it back on my shoulders. I don't want it on my neck, so it's pulling me forward this way. You can stay up nice, straight, and tall with a resistance band. Okay, another option, this is more of a front squat. You could hold it in front. Okay, so that's using a resistance band in place of a barbell. All right. Second option, I'm using these portable dumbbells. You could use a milk jug, a kettlebell, anything with some weight, and you're going to do what's called the goblet squat. Goblet just because you're holding it in front of your chest in a goblet type position, or like a goblet. And you're going to keep those shoulders back, chest up nice and tall, and you're going to perform a squat holding that weight up underneath your chin at chest level. Okay, so that's another weighted option. It can be anything with weight, a duffel bag with stuff inside, milk jug, a large 5-gallon jug, really anything like that to add some weight. Then just regular body weight stuff, what I would have you challenge yourself with is getting down and holding in this position, staying back in your heels, chest up nice and tall, holding for 20, 30 seconds, 45, up to a minute. And those are ways to really challenge yourself doing a squat without being at the gym and having access to a bunch of weight. So hope that squat video helps you guys out today. Use it, all right? Really work on the squat, perfect it, get better at it. It's going to help your overall health and fitness, especially mobility and hip stuff. So, all right, guys, if you have any questions, comment below, private message me. Thanks again for joining me. Be good. Peace.